I'm delighted to share the stage with today's keynote speaker, Dr. Larry Lampman, New Mexico Tech's 15th president. Dr. Lattman not only served as New Mexico Tech's president from 1983 to 1993, but he also has special knowledge of New Mexico Tech's new president because Dr. Wells was his graduate student at the University of Cincinnati. So that's quite a connection now, the two presidents, and they knew each other many years ago in Cincinnati. And knowing Dr. Lattman as I do, I'm confident he'll share memories of his former student as only he is capable of doing. So please give a warm welcome to Dr. Larry Lampman, who informed me he will be 93 years old next month.
Wells, to quote a famous book, in the beginning there was the Board of Regents. They faced the toughest job that any Board of Regents has to do, which is the selection of the president of a university. That decision is the most important they do. I began to get reports back from various friends, I live in Albuquerque, that these regents were conducting an outstanding search. Not only was it national in scope, but they were getting input from anyone who had any interest at all, from the faculty, from the students, from the staff. They were listening and getting advice and searching. They did a wonderfully thorough job, and their job was, of course, to come up with a president that an excellent university such as New Mexico Tech deserves. And guess what? They did. I began to look up some of the biographical information on Steve Wells, and the more I read, the more I got this eerie feeling that throughout his professional career, he was preparing to be president of New Mexico Tech. Everything in his curriculum vitae points to his leadership of a STEM-oriented university. For those of you who maybe not, STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math, of which tech is very heavily involved, of course. Steve is from Indiana, got his bachelor's degree from the University of Indiana, then came to the University of Cincinnati for his graduate work, and in 1976 got his doctorate, got a master's en route. Went to work for another university in the state somewhat north of us called UNM, and started as a young assistant professor and went right up through the academic ranks to full professor. 15 years, he spent the last 2 years as chairman of the department. Throughout his career, you will notice that whatever organization he joins, sooner or later, asks him to assume a leadership role. There must be a message in that. He then, after 1991, spent 4 years at the University of California at Riverside, before in 1995 joining the Desert Research Institute, which is part of the Nevada system of higher education. As its name implies, it's a research institute on the parallel with University of Nevada at Reno and Las Vegas. While there, I might add, he accumulated a few honors. For example, in 1997, he won the Kirk Bryan Award, which is an award given for excellence in a publication in his field of geomorphology and quaternary geology by the Geological Society of America, which is the foremost professional organization of geologists in North America. It's a very fine award to get. While serving as his initial appointment at DRI was head of the section that was studying modern geology, modern times quaternary geology. That's us today, including such things as climate change and very trendy subjects, not just old fossils in the past. And while president of the DRI in 2006 to 7, He was elected president of the Geological Society of America, which is one of the highest honors that the profession can give a person. He continued on as president of DRI until he was pirated by some people in New Mexico and induced to come to this induction ceremony. I would like to add, however, that starting in 2004, he was heavily involved in something in addition to the presidency of DRI, Desert Research Institute, which is very telling. He was chairman of the board of an organization called Gathering Geniuses, which was an attempt to bring together in Nevada, which is the state in which he lived and worked, those people with the ability who could benefit from extensive training. More importantly, they spun off an organization which was called the Nevada, let me get this right, the Nevada STEM Education Coalition, a group whose job it was, especially K through 12, to bring education in science, technology, engineering, and math to the children of Nevada. The driving spirit behind this, the organizer and the one who pushed it, was a lady named Beth Wells, who was also Mrs. Stephen Wells. So between the two of them, they were heavily involved in STEM education. Look at his record. He has years of teaching experience. He has years of research experience, including winning an award for it. He is heavily involved with his wife in education for everyone in the STEM subjects, down from kindergarten up through university. Can you imagine a more ideal person to be prepared to be president of New Mexico Tech? One thing is lacking: his personality. Suppose this wonderful person ran around at night screaming with paint on his face. What about his personality? It happens to be delightful. The man is calm. He doesn't get rattled. He doesn't get excited. Every time I think of President Wells, he's not going to like this, I think of a duck which sits on the surface of the pond, serenely moving along, while underneath he's paddling with purpose and fury. He accomplishes. In other words, he accomplishes with minimum wear and tear on those around him. He's a very fine person, a fine administrator, a fine geologist, and a hell of a nice guy. I have not the slightest doubt that following the excellent tenure of his predecessor, President Daniel Lopez, Tech will move forward at full speed and continue that work, leading to even greater excellence under the leadership of President Stephen Wells.